Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. This is episode 144. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. Burley and Carl, how you guys doing? Yeah.
Good evening, as it is now 10 p.m.
Yeah. You guys
what's he drinking there?
Yeah.
It is a Coors Seltzer.
Look at that.
Fruit punch flavor. I just did
Special.
because I'm now off for a couple days from work, so I was like,
I need
oh,
some
you know what?
coffee.
Oh, if I have caffeine at this point, like caffeine after 3 p.m. screws my whole sleep up. So it's like, I felt I'd go the other route. I was like, I saw these in the beer store. I'm like, I'll try them out.
Well, out here in Japan, it's like 11, just after 11 a.m. on Saturday. So yeah, after this, I'll be able to go out and do some things. So yeah, the tides have reversed. So yeah,
I needed it because I was in there helping get my daughter to sleep, and I was falling asleep, not her.
Yeah. So. But anyway, we have a great show for you. We're going to be talking about the Starfield reviews. We're gonna discuss, what we think of some of them. Also, there's a new handheld device coming out. Maybe it could challenge the Steam Deck. We'll talk about that. Little Nightmares 3 and the co-op situation with that. We're going to talk about that as well. And our topic of the show, 2023. Is it the best year ever for RPGs? We're going to talk about that as well. And of course, the Game Pass games coming out, as well as PS Plus for September, because we are now in September, guys. We are right on the eve, of course, of Tokyo Game Show coming up in a few weeks. So yeah, we're really excited for that, as well as the Starfield release for those of us plebeians that don't have the Ultimate Edition. So we're going to be talking about that. So anyway, before we get into the games that we've been playing this past week, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast outside of YouTube on like audio and video formats. So check that out.
Discuss what they have been playing. This episode of The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearenaproductions for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version, it will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Productions, where you can join and chat with the Arena Productions community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena Productions. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go at it, because I know Burley's been streaming Sea of Stars now. Yeah. Right, Burley, you streamed it? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Oh, yes. I have streamed it since it came out. Yes.
Okay. And Carl, you've played some Sea of Stars, so you have some things to say about it too. So I will let both you and Burley go at it. So because Sea of Stars is a big game, came out on the 29th. So let's go ahead and talk about Sea of Stars. So who wants to go first?
Burley, you should definitely go first. You've been championing this for quite a while.
Yeah, this is a game I've been looking forward to for 3 years. I kickstarted this game, and after I had kickstarted it, I played the first game, Messenger. It's done by Sabotage Studio here in Canada, in Montreal, just a few hours away from me. And from the about 10 hours I have into this on streaming and a little bit on my Steam Deck, I'm loving this game. This is a love letter to RPGs. And specifically combat wise and stuff like that, Chrono Trigger, but it has elements of other RPGs. Like if you've played the Golden Sun series, if you know about the whole thing with that of interacting with the dungeons you're going in with the puzzles and stuff, they've got stuff like that. This whole break mechanic you can see with the things above their heads with the different attacks. It's just a love letter to RPGs. Having the whole thing of, the nice thing is it has just so many elements of, like, if for people that are not into these turn-based RPGs, they have these relics you can turn on to make the game easier. So if you just want to experience the story, you don't want challenge, or you want certain things, like I have stuff to help me, because I'll admit it, I suck with the timed hits for blocking and getting them and for some of the skills. So I have some of the stuff to help improve with that, as well as it gives you the little shines and stuff that go up from your character when you do them, to really help me get the timing in my head correct for it. But what else can I say? The mini game for their version of like a card mini game, when you get to that, is a lot of fun.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, I think you'll really enjoy it. I accidentally hit the wrong, because sometimes you smash buttons too fast. Didn't do the tutorial for it and just went in. Oops. And learned how as you go, and it was fun. I still won my first match, but it was like, okay, this is really fun. The whole thing of every level up your character, you choose that stat bonus at the end, like Super Mario RPG.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of Super Mario RPG influence for sure.
Oh yeah. And one of the things I do like is if a character dies in battle, you're not, oh crap, I got to get a Phoenix down or revive. You got this whole thing with the stars above their head, and every turn it'll take a star away, and then they come back with, I think it's like a third of their health. Mm-hmm. So, and the nice thing too,
it's cool.
And if you win the battle and 2 or more are fainted or whatever, they're still going to get the EXP. There's no individual EXP for every character. It's all just one. So that way you're not, oh shit, he died, now I got to spend 2 turns reviving. If you think you can beat the boss before he revives, you just go for it, and there's no punishment. I really, really love that.
That's how it should be. I hate games where, like, that's very old school, where like you can like over level one character and not another because they missed out on something. That's really dumb.
Yep.
Now, how are you enjoying the story so far in this game? So you're saying it's a love letter to RPGs, and you talked a lot about the gameplay mechanics and the elements of it, but how about the story? I mean, is the story really compelling, Burley?
I'm really enjoying the story. It is a love letter to RPGs. They mock and play with the fun tropes of RPGs.
Okay.
Yeah, I would talk about the story. So the beginning, I think, is really cool. It's a really good setup, right? They do, first of all, they do this thing, which I don't know. I'm sure a bunch of RPGs have done this, right? But it's not a thing I like in like movies, but I like it in something like this, because where they open the game with like somebody sort of like telling a story or talking about the story, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of the actual game story. Like Shining Force did this, is one of my all-time favorites, right? And it was like very slight in that game, but in this game it seems more significant. I feel like it'll play more of a factor in some way, but maybe I'm wrong. But I still like that it's like there's like a lore to what's happening before you even get into the game, right?
Yeah.
And then the story, it's cool because it does the like, all right, it gives you a little intro area. You kind of do a little bit, 2 characters, main characters, or you get to know them. They're dynamic, and then it goes and they're like, oh, well, this thing happened a while ago, and we're wondering about something, and then it flashes back, right? And then you play when they're young, when there's training, and there's the third main character, which you can see in here, Garl, with a G, not Carl. I don't know your name, but But yeah, so like I like that, the two of you are trained in this sort of special school or whatever, the Solstice Academy, I think it's called. And
Yep.
there's a bit of a mystery going on. There's the two older, what are they called? Solstice warriors, right? Who
Yes.
seem to have like they know something, they feel like something's not right, and they're like, not really, they don't really like the idea that like they're still training young kids to be these warriors. And it is a smart, interesting tale. The writing is good, and I'm very early in it, but the characters are the two main characters are fine. I don't think like they're the standout so far, but like when Garl shows up, like I really like his personality and the dynamic of the three of them together. Right.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoy, like, it was a good moment when he gets back to them after the flashback, right? Because it's just touching, and I'm like, I felt this emotion already early on in the game. So yeah, really, really great combat stuff. Like everything Burley said, it's all cool. One thing he didn't mention, which we're seeing in this video, is those little glowy orbs popping out.
Yeah.
Which is this sort of charge mechanic, which is great because that lets you add a magic element or extra magic damage sort of to your attacks, so that when if you need to like break their combo meter or combo, whatever they call it, no, lock meter or something, I forget what they call it, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lock meter,
right? To break their attack, you can do it with regular standard melee attacks, right? Because you can charge your weapon attacks up with those things instead of having to use your magic. But then there's also the balance of every time you use a basic attack, you get magic points back. And I think it's great. It's just a really good flow to combat.
Oh yeah, and it really wants you to use your abilities, but you want you to use them, but use them sparingly. You got to know when to use them, because some of these boss fights, if you don't use your MP right, can take a while. But like Carl said with the boost thing, it doesn't just work for just attack damage. I will wait for some of those up, and then use some of the healing abilities, charge up the healing, because it will affect your healing.
Okay.
Yeah, it will affect your healing because you'll use it with Garl's one, the healing, the reserve item, because like it would go from like 40 something with one, with none, and then you use it with one, and it goes to about like 60. So
yeah. And then there's the combo attacks, which is like the two characters teaming up and doing a special thing. And those are incredibly useful because, again, you can have, the mixing the attack types in one attack, right? Which you obviously normally can't do. And if you see there's a counter timer on each of the enemies when they're going to attack. So like, it's cool to strategize and think about like, all right, like I need to break this guy before he does his spell. And I need to hit him with, two different types of things. How do I do that? Well, I mean, if I have a combo saved up, I can hit it. So yeah, I mean, it's awesome. And even the level design of the areas where, the verticality of it, how you can, you have to climb up on stuff all the time. And when you get up higher and there's like a rope ladder that you can drop down so you can get back to sort of area quicker. Yeah. And there'll be secrets and things to find, and the puzzling stuff, like you said, like there was this early on area where you raised up sort of the area and lowered it, and then like these platforms dropped down and locked into place, and you had to utilize that, and you can reset it with the switch and stuff. And it's just really good design. Like those elements outside of combat while you're going to area feel fun and engaging. That is not typical in a lot of these games.
Yeah, it's not just endless core. Okay, I was on the right side of the dungeon. Now let's go over to the left to get the chest before I go fight the boss. They really do their homework on this stuff. And like, you get a little bit later on, you'll get abilities you can use outside of battles for the puzzles. And like I said, I mentioned Golden Sun. It's a series I really love on the Game Boy Advance. The two games on the Game Boy Advance, and I even like the DS game. You get abilities that you can just use, and just it's creative. If you know what you're doing and thinking with this, and you've played RPGs like this, just the amount of stuff you can go back into areas you've previously been to, find stuff and get, and you're rewarded for your exploring.
Yeah, I mean, love letter is definitely the right phrase because they've taken the right influence and learned the right lessons from all the previous RPGs, the greatest ones, right, of this style and this era, and utilize that stuff to, and then even enhanced or added things on top of that. It is fantastic. Like I really want to keep playing more, and I'm intentionally not buying the early release of Starfield, right, so I can spend time with this.
Yeah.
No.
But
I approve of that.
I'll throw this to you though, Burley. I mean, this could be a little premature of a question, but will we see a Sea of Stars 2? Do you think they're going to make a sequel to this?
I don't know. That's very interesting because, like they said, this takes place in the same universe. If you've played The Messenger, which was their first game,
Okay.
which is like a 2D Metroidvania, so it's really interesting to see them go from that style of game to an RPG.
Okay.
I'm hooked with from both games. They've put really great quality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in for whatever they want to do next. They have my money.
Okay.
Yeah, more of this or another similar game, that would be fantastic. This game, they already said it has 100,000 copies sold.
Yeah,
over day one, and that's without the Kickstarters and the money they're getting from Xbox.
Right,
and
of course, that's not including the ones in the subscription. So like that's
amazing.
That's a good number for an indie, right? Obviously, other right. So yeah, and the reviews are incredible, and I would like to see this game nominated. Probably not for Game of the Year just because it's such a strong year, but I think on another year, it could be that indie darling that like should be nominated. But RPG of the Year category, it should be
RPG and indie category. Yeah. This game needs to be
should be in there. Should be nominated for sure. Yeah. Okay, well, let's jump to the weekly news beat. So obviously, Starfield is now out in many people's hands, and the review embargo has lifted. So we're getting tons of reviews on Starfield now. So we're gonna talk about some of the reviews and just discuss what we feel about these reviews. And I also want to discuss in this conversation the situation with early access. Now, Burley and I were talking about this on the morning show that we do on the weekdays, the Arena Productions Live, and we were talking about early access, and Burley was making a point about early access and those that are using Game Pass, and they might feel a little bit slighted, that people are getting it in early access if you buy the Ultimate Edition. So Burley, I guess we'll bring that up first before we get into the reviews. I mean, what was your beef with the fact that people buying the Ultimate Edition was not fair to the Game Pass subscribers?
Well, the whole thing with Game Pass is saying day one on Game Pass. It's not technically day one on Game Pass. It is day one on Game Pass asterisk if you pay for the $30 premium or Ultimate Edition. This is something I hate, this whole thing of give us more money to get the game early. Why? Why should I? I have no problem them charging $30 for the DLC that is going to come a year or two from now. Fine, that I understand. But to play the game 5 days early, and because this is not only targeting just regular gamers, this is targeting me, content creator. Yeah. Because they want you want those day ones. You're chasing those day one views for the YouTube and Twitch stream views and all that money that you could potentially be coming in. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I don't like that. It should be one day for us all. We should all get the same day it comes out. It is what it is.
Yeah. Bring that up, and I kind of want to say that it should be beneficial to streamers because you will likely pay for it, right? And you will likely get a monetization right out of that is worthwhile for you to do so. So it does, it will drive people to streamers because there will be people who are like, well, I'm not sure, or I just don't feel like paying the extra.
Yeah.
So like I'll watch some streamers, while I wait.
That's true for pretty much every game, every big game.
Yeah. So like I think there is a value to that. I mean, I think it is weird. Yeah, they're only going to do it for like the biggest games. It's a way to monetize that I think is the least offensive. I mean, like you can add stupid microtransactions, right? And you can add a whole lot of stupid cosmetic crap, right? And like cosmetics don't change things, but there are games, a game like Starfield, for example, where I expect it to include a vast array of cosmetics. So like you can't, it's hard to say, oh, well, let's charge for cosmetics in Starfield when like there should be thousands of like various things to already in the games. Like, why would I pay for more? So like it is the type of game that makes sense to do this. It is weird. It doesn't feel like day one, like you said, on Game Pass anymore. But like you could pay the $30 extra. At least they're not like forcing you to buy the full price, and that extra gives you other content, right? It gives you the small little DLC stuff that comes now, plus the first expansion. So like,
but that DLC that's coming now, how many people are going to get to that DLC within the first 100 or 150 hours?
I don't even know what it is. I think it's just like something small. It's probably something that you can access anytime.
Okay, yeah, just go into the HUD and then say, okay, just access this skin or access this one area or something.
Well, you're getting a couple weapon skins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's fine, whatever. But it's my thing is. Yeah, like you said, it helps drive traffic to content creators. But as much as you think that helps, that's not always like. If I was to spend that $30, I don't know at my level if I would recoup that cost.
Yeah,
because
maybe it's not your audience, right? I'm not sure it is your particular audience, right?
Well,
but let's say it was a Pokemon game. Like, I feel like you definitely would.
Well, yeah, Pokemon's one thing, but. In the sense of this, I would get people that would come in just to see, okay, what's this game? You're going to get a lot of people that are going to come in and just get this game and see what you have to say. And for the first couple of hours you're playing it and be like, okay, thank you. Maybe give you a follow. They're not going to pay you the money because they're
not going to subscribe. Yeah.
They're not going to subscribe. They're not going to throw bits or anything like that or buy stream loot packs or stuff like that. Yeah. They're just going to be like, oh, thank you for showing me the game early. I can wait till Christmas or I can wait the 5 days. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird thing of I know for myself, it's like if I didn't have Sea of Stars out right now, I couldn't justify spending the $30 up front for just to have the game today, this weekend, Monday, Tuesday. To be like, yes, I have Starfield this many days early because I know with the amount of people that have already, done the pay to win, basically, of just get it early, trying to get out content, and I'm fighting with all these people.
Yeah, let me just throw my 10 cents in on this. I mean, I am also a streamer, but I haven't done it for a while because I've been concentrating on the Arena Productions here on the YouTube channel and everything else. But I'll say this much about it. I would not pay that $30 because this game is going to be streamed for years. This game is going to be streamed for months and years. Yeah. And if people are going to watch you, they are going to watch you. If they are not going to watch you, they're going to watch the bigger streamers, whatever. It's going to be out there for years. And if people want to watch your stream, if they want to watch Starfield, they're going to come and watch you stream it. So I mean, whether or not you get the costs back or not, that's another issue. But I mean, it's gonna be there, and to wait 5 more days and not pay the extra $30, it doesn't concern me. Maybe it concerns you, Burley. Maybe it concerns other streamers out there. But for me personally, I'll wait the 5 days. I'll save the $30. And I'll start playing Starfield and I'll start streaming it because some people are probably going to come and watch me. If they like it, they'll stay. If they don't like me and they don't like Starfield, they'll leave. So yeah. I mean that's my take on it. Yeah.
This is a FOMO play, and
yeah.
Look, if that bothers you, if you can't wait, sorry, I guess. Like, you gotta pay. Like have some willpower.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. More people should have willpower and all that, but this just keeps like I know we've had this for years. This is still continuing on the trend of something I hate. Of just you want to get it early, give us more money.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Burley. I agree with you there. And it's like people like us that are like Game Pass. I'm a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. It's like, why can't I start playing it on September 1st?
Oh yeah.
I get it. I am. Yeah. So I mean, I understand that. I get that.
Yeah. So. I mean, I get it's a game, right? Of them trying to make money. It's a business, and in the grand scheme of things, this is 5 days ahead of launch of a game that's going to be played for forever, right? And if a year from now you'll be like, it was early access. What? Really? I don't know.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
yeah.
So like it doesn't mean much, but I guarantee you it makes them a ton of money.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you can't blame people. Like, it's not just Microsoft. But it can only be for like these big games, right? It's got to be a game that's like very desirable. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, really, at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I like it's a trend. I hope goes away and dies, but I know that's not gonna. I know it's not. Trust me, I know I'm wrong on that, because like this is something I hate, that just you pay to get this early, and it's like.
If they start extending that period to much longer, like 2 weeks, that's going to be like months. Yeah. God, that would be awful. Really awful.
Yeah. Now let's see if this becomes a trend with the Xbox Studios games. I mean, like they're doing it now with Starfield. Let's see if they do it with Fable. Let's see if they do it with, say, Hellblade 2 and games like that. I'm sure
if they start that, then I will.
What other one did they do it with? Was it Forza Horizon 5, I believe?
Yeah, I think
so. They did it with Forza.
Did they do it with Forza?
I think maybe. I don't remember 100%.
Let us know in the comments if they did it with Forza.
Maybe another Forza, but I don't remember for Horizon 5.
I feel like that was the one they might have done it for.
I just know that this trend is this. It's gonna continue if the numbers of sales off of the Ultimate Edition, justify it. They're going to do it with most of the other big Xbox Studios games that come out as well.
I feel like I'm trying to think like what game coming out they would actually do it for. And I'm not sure it makes enough sense for anything really soon. I mean, maybe Hellblade 2 because it's like a known sort of thing, and there should be a lot of people. Yeah,
but Forza Motorsport's coming later. Forza Motorsport, they'll probably do it for.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they will, though, because I feel like Motorsport isn't as, it's not as big of an audience, right? As like Horizon,
whatever extra content they have, whatever extra content they might have that they can throw out right away, they'll use that as a justification to do it. Yeah, 3 days early, 5 days early.
I'm not certain they will for most of their games, but there could be one of the games.
Get Deep Purple's Highway Star playing all the time in the game. And
so
get the game 3 days early.
Like Burley, I'm sure Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation side, we might, there might be like an Ultimate Edition that you get to play early.
They haven't done that, right?
Sony? No, that's as much as Sony does some really dumb things, and we'll be talking more about some of their dumb things. That's one thing they haven't gone to yet.
Well, they've done some dumb things, but we still love PlayStation.
For the love of God, Jim Ryan, do not do it. Do not do it. It ain't worth it.
What would be the first game Sony you think would do it for?
I would think probably Spider-Man 2.
I don't know.
Because of the Marvel content. I mean, there's going to be some extra Marvel content in there.
They would do it for the next Last of Us.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Or
factions maybe.
Or they'll do it for Wolverine. Watch. You'll
Wolverine.
See. Wolverine.
Yeah, pretty sure that we would have announced it already if they were doing it for Spider-Man.
Who knows?
Yeah, Spider-Man it would have been by now.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Let's get to the reviews. Okay, so I mean the Starfield reviews and all, and some of these reviews, and Carl, I saw in the Discord there, you throwing up some of the, some of the numbers and some of the, the reviews, and yeah,
that,
I mean,
that weird bunch at the bottom, man.
Oh goodness, yeah. So I mean, there's some really positive reviews here. I mean, like VGC. I'll go ahead and read off their review here. Quote: Starfield is undoubtedly a game that players will explore for years. It's content rich in a way that's rare in modern gaming, but it's exactly the experience that people who've been buying different versions of Skyrim for years wanted. It doesn't reinvent the wheel with any of its mechanics, but almost everything it does so well that it's a truly engrossing experience. End quote. They gave it a 5 out of 5. They're really positive reviews, but then there's some that, like IGN gives it a 7. And they say, quote, Starfield has a lot of forces working against it, but eventually the allure of its expansive role-playing quests and respectable combat make its gravitational pull difficult to resist, end quote. Well, a 7? I don't know. That's a head scratcher to me. I don't know. But I'll throw it to you guys. What do you think of some of these reviews? I mean, the majority of them obviously are really good. I mean, but it's interesting. You guys were discussing in the Discord. Sea of Stars is rated higher than Starfield, when it comes to review scores and everything. But I just think go ahead, Carl. You take it away. Go.
I'll touch on that real quick because there are certain games that get reviewed by a specific crowd, right?
Yeah.
So like the best example this year is Street Fighter 6, which has a 92 on OpenCritic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is Street Fighter 6 game of the year? I highly doubt it's even going to be nominated.
No. It'll be nominated for best fighting game. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because it's getting reviewed by people who love fighting games, right? And it's a great example of a fighting game. But if you were giving that review to a wide audience, I highly doubt it's going to get anywhere near that type of score, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what if I was trying to review Street Fighter 6? I'd just be like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's great. I guess I really like it. But like, would I give it a 10 or a 9? Probably give it, I don't know, because I don't have that basis to say like this is the best, fighting game, right? Yeah. And Sea of Stars is, that sort of smaller indie darling, turn-based JRPG type game. Right. Yeah. The people reviewing that are probably people who are very passionate about looking for that type of thing. Right. Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is also another example. The reviews are incredibly good, but I don't really think, and I've played it and I love it, I don't think it should be that high. I think it's very high. Like there are issues in this game that people don't really seem to talk about and bring up a lot. Like there's bugs. There's weird, glitches and graphical things and mistakes. Like, and from what I hear, the longer you play the game, once you get to Act 3, you get a lot more issues and problems.
Hey, you just don't respect Act 3 as well as you did Act 1 and 2. I heard someone actually say that on the video, and I cringed so hard hearing that. I was like,
So Starfield is the kind of game where everybody and their mother is reviewing it, and outlets. Let me talk about IGN, right? Like IGN, you got Dan Stapleton reviewing it, and he is the like editor in chief of the video game reviews. He's the head guy.
Yeah,
and clearly he's like, I'm gonna do it because I'm the head guy.
Yeah,
and I'm picking this big game and I'm gonna review it, but. But in reality, in most normal cases at IGN, they give the reviews to the people they think are the best for the job, right?
Yeah,
not just a guy just saying like I'm doing this one.
Well, that and a person that's really experienced with that particular genre of game as well.
Exactly, like they're gonna farm out their sports game reviews to people who know about those things, right?
Yeah,
who are enthusiastic about those things.
Yeah.
So I think that is what we're seeing with some of the Starfield reviews, but I think those people are the outliers. There's very few reviews that are below an 8, right, out of 10, and the vast majority of them are 9 and up. So, it's just a shame. I feel it's a real shame that like a big outlet like IGN give it a score like a 7 because that kind of hurts. Like it doesn't look good. A 7 looks to most people like a bad score.
Oh, yeah, or just this is just a average game.
Yeah, right. And just
Yeah.
I haven't played this game, so I can't say they're wrong, right?
Right.
I'm not going to be that guy, right?
But would you
when-
agree? But would you agree that IGN seems to be more PlayStation biased when it comes to review scores? And I'm saying this because I'm telling you right now, when Spider-Man 2 comes out, that's going to get a 10. How
Well,
much
I
you
mean,
want to
it
bet
might-
it's
it
going to
might
get a 10?
9, you know, like
Or
It- it'll-
9.8.
No,
well, they
it'll
don't
get
do that anymore, but
they won't.
Oh,
It'll
they
be a
don't do
9
the
or 9.
point something
No,
scores.
well,
It's
they'll
just
do
8 or 9.
9 or they'll do
Okay.
9.5. It'll
Okay.
be
No, they-
Spider-Man.
they changed their scale is just whole points. So
Okay, so
it has to be 9 or a 10.
It's going to be a 10.
I don't know if that's going to be the case, but
I hope
like,
not.
you know,
If it doesn't deserve it, then it should not be a 10. But I have a feeling because it's Spider-Man and it's Sony, it's gonna get a 10.
yeah, there's definitely an inherent, I think, bias it seems at IGN, not just towards Sony but also Nintendo games.
Yeah.
There's more of a
Oh, they're
nostalgia bias, right?
They're a little too friendly on some of these Nintendo games.
Nintendo gets
their
it
reviews.
everywhere, and again, it's a nostalgia bias.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us, we grew up with that, and that's hard to get rid of for some people.
And that's why Tears of the Kingdom is going to win Game of the Year. I'm telling you guys. I've told you guys.
We'll see.
For
You may be right
for
at
the
this
whole
point.
year. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think score, like, you don't have to have the highest review score to
No.
win. That's not how
No.
it works.
But like you said, it's a nostalgia thing. I mean,
It is.
it's Baldur's Gate. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of streamers. Everybody said Baldur's Gate's going to win Game of the Year. No, it's not. It's not,
Well, I
because
think-
it's not. It doesn't have the big nostalgia, thing that that Nintendo and the Zelda series has. So go ahead.
I do think that Game of the Year is more of an experience thing. Like when I think a lot of people when they pick Game of the Year, they're like, what was the experience of the year, right?
Yeah.
Nostalgia, I think, plays a bit of a less factor in that, because that's not the experience, right? It's just something that may color your opinion. But at the end of the day, when you think back about the game you played, that's not really nostalgia anymore because that was recent.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say on that, but
Yeah, let me
Nintendo,
just read
man,
one
they
more.
They get way too much. They're way
Let me
too
just
easy
read-
for them to get high scores.
Well, let me just read one more that was a 7. It came from GameSpot.
GameSpot, another
Yeah, exactly.
joke
It's a
nowadays.
quote. When you strip Starfield down to its essentials, it relies on a tried and true but well-tread formula while missing some of the depth of the games that came before it. Speaking of nostalgia, Carl, Starfield is a game more concerned with quantity than quality and leaves the experience at the surface level, end quote.
I mean, that's
Anyway, yeah.
that goes counter to like what I'm reading in a lot of reviews that are saying
Yeah.
that the core story is incredible.
Mhm.
I forgot the name of it. The factions, all the faction quests they say are incredible.
Yeah.
And they said I've seen people talk about like weird random quests and missions they find that are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone says the combat and the gunplay is great.
Yeah.
So like I don't really see that. I know everybody has their own opinion, but like when I'm looking at the majority of the reviews, right? Like I said, most of them are 9 and up.
Yeah.
Like if you're giving it a 7, like you're way out of that range. Like I don't really know. Like you're off the mark for sure.
Well, let me read just one more from Destructoid, and I gave it a 10. Quote, I wasn't sure if it could be done, but Bethesda has managed to raise the bar for sandbox games even higher. In the end, Starfield is an epic sandbox, open world RPG with a beautiful immersive universe, a captivating story, and fun and compelling gameplay the whole way. I'm so happy to have experienced Starfield organically, and I really hope you get to as well, end quote. So, yeah, I'm hoping for all of that when I start playing it on September 6th, like all of us other plebeians. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So,
Well, reviews, like I've said, after Cyberpunk, I don't trust any of these reviewers. Let's be honest. How many of them were given 8s and 9s out of Cyberpunk and acting like there were no problems, and then when the game released day one for everyone, everyone's like, "What the hell? All these problems." So if you put faith in all these reviewers, you need to re-examine a few things. Watch people that are actually playing the game. Watch people you actually trust. I don't trust any of these news agencies and review sites because, like I said with Cyberpunk, they fooled me on that, thinking that, and then had to apologize and go backpedal, and some of them didn't backpedal.
yeah.
So I'm just waiting to see when I play the game. This is why I'm just trying it through Game Pass. If it's good, I'll keep playing and keep putting the hours. If it's not for me, it's not for me. I can just easily stop.
No, Burley, he's going to buy the watch and everything, I'm sure. At some
No. I got the Spider-Man 2 collector's edition to pay for.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah. Cyberpunk was an interesting moment for the industry because it was such a hyped game, right? I could not believe the amount of build up for that game. The marketing was incredibly huge. Everyone was giving them so much credit because of The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they just expected this greatness, right? You got all these people getting their cyberpunk chairs, right? Their fancy gaming chairs, right?
Yeah.
And all these things, right? And everyone was pushing this game really hard.
Yeah.
And it worked in a sense that beyond the reviews, but the sales for the game at launch were incredible, right?
Yeah.
But I think this led to them ignoring the red flag of we're only giving out the PC codes, right? You can't play this on console yet. Can't play this on so you couldn't see what it was like on the old gen consoles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the big problems came out. So I think now,
and you can only see footage from certain sections of the game, and CD Projekt Red actually had given them proved video clips and video footage to use.
Yeah.
Because I remember with some, I think it was Yang Yao, because I used to like his stuff. He was using their thing, and he came out after and was like, "Sorry." And it's like, no, you dupe people because you want to keep that connection with CD Projekt Red, dupe fans over and people, and it's like, no.
Yeah, so now I think people they did learn a lesson, right? And they're looking out for these things, and devs learned a lesson for sure, right? Or publishers, right? To try not to do these things because now we're wise to it. So with Starfield, you can play it on PC, you can play it on Xbox, right? Those versions are both available. Reviews are mixed between them, and all the reviews seem to say performance is very good on everything. On the X, on the S, PC, and bugs are very minimum. The best any Bethesda game studios game has been at launch.
Yeah. I haven't heard much about that yet, so that's a good sign. So, all right. So we'll be talking about Starfield later, obviously. But next up, another handheld device is coming. And it'll be interesting to see if it can compete with the Steam Deck. So Lenovo, guys. Mm-hmm. Lenovo unveils a new Legion gaming handheld device and accessories that untether PC gaming. So the question is, could this compete with the Steam Deck? So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And I'll read a little bit of this, of the specs and all for you. So, So it's got AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor with AMD RNDA graphics and smart power management. It can run Windows 11 and delivers a potent combo of console rivaling graphics, performing that bring games to life on its massive 8.8-inch QHD Plus 16:10 Lenovo PureSight game display. So capable of up to 500 nits brightness and supporting a 97% DCI P3 color game gamut. The display is also adjustable to play style and situation, supporting resolutions from 1600p to 800p, as well as 144 hertz and 60 hertz refresh rates. So it goes on. You can get up to 2 terabytes of storage on this thing. So Burley. So you have the Steam Deck. Carl, you have a Steam Deck too, or not yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay, but Burley, he plays the Steam Deck a lot. So what do you think of this from Lenovo?
Yeah, Lenovo is a good hardware maker. I will say this, for the company I work for, we really do like their Lenovo computers. Their laptops are really good computers. So this was interesting that they're going to go into this market. And we remember years ago, even before the Steam Deck was a thing, Alienware had made a proof of concept of it. Yeah. We never got anything out falling with it.
Yeah.
And it was basically this. It's a neat looking device, and having the Joy-Con things is neat. Whether or not this is going to be interesting to see how well things run on this, because the Asus one, the Asus ROG Ally, is doing well, but it's had some issues because it is going straight up Windows. We've got the Windows issues, and then with the whole thing with the Windows drivers and all that, Windows updates that have had some issues. Yeah. So I'm really interested here to see how this is going to work, especially with the kind of Joy-Con style controllers on these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a little touchpad. I see that too on the right there. I mean, I think the design's awesome. It's it is copying that Nintendo Switch design, but I mean that's proven to be a big success. So
yeah,
there's no problem there. It looks massive though. Right, I know the Steam Deck is big. This looks like even bigger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is bigger than the Steam Deck. In terms of length, I think it's just not as wide and thick as the Steam Deck.
But the screen size, that's cool. I mean, I do want a screen size like that. So, because I have like a Switch Lite, and that screen is not big enough. And even like the basic Switch, I know they get a little bigger on the OLED. Even the basic Switch, still isn't quite big enough. It seems fine, but I'm like, I don't like looking at that size screen. Maybe because I'm older. If I was younger, it wouldn't bother me as much.
Hey, I have a day one Switch. I still wish the screen size was bigger.
Okay,
my day one Switch. It's not an age thing, I would say.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean. I personally, I think Windows is the better choice. I know the Steam Deck works great because it's designed for that. But the more of these devices they make, and the more they're designed and streamlined to work with Windows, I think it's not going to matter at some point.
Yeah, in a few years, it'd be really interesting in 5 to 10 years to see how this goes. The fans, they're like, whisper quiet. Yeah, it's going to be whisper quiet for what? I'm running DOS games on here that use nothing, and that's how I get 60 hours of battery life.
All the retro games,
yeah. You're running that. Cool. It's nice that this thing you can easily do the Game Pass and all that, and that you've got that native, which is nice. But with the beauty of the Steam Deck is. If you can spend a little bit of time, you can get the Game Pass working on it, because have it on mine. So I've got Game Pass. You can get PlayStation Remote Play. I have MU Deck on there on my Steam Deck, running all emulators off my micro SD card.
But you're talking about cloud streaming, right? For Game Pass?
Yeah, it's cloud streaming.
I mean, this is going to run native games, whatever's on Game Pass, because it's Windows.
Yeah. You can do both, yeah,
which is great. That's what I want, and Microsoft very smartly is pushing into these places. So the ROG Ally had Game Pass partnership, and clearly, based on this commercial, this ad, Game Pass is all over it. Almost every game they're showing is Game Pass.
Hi-Fi Rush, everything,
right. Starfield, they had the logo, and Ghostwire Tokyo was there. So Halo was in it. So they're all up in that, and that's smart. I mean, they are Windows or Microsoft, right? So
right.
They're gonna be in that area. The question is the price. What's that at? I don't know that we know yet. I'm sure it'll be high.
I think it's rumored at $7.99 US for the base.
Okay.
For the base unit,
Yeah.
which is way higher than the Steam Deck,
Yeah.
which doesn't surprise me. Like the ROG Ally goes higher pricing than the Steam Deck in some of its.
Well, yeah.
It's
Steam Deck-
variation.
Steam Deck did the loss leader thing, right? Like there's no way that they're making a profit on the low end of the Steam Deck, or probably not even the high end, like barely.
If they're not making much of like on the low end there, because you're not getting an SSD, it's flash storage is really cheap.
Yeah.
It's only 64 gigs. That one I could see them making a profit. It's like $10 if that, but like they're not making much. The highest, the two, I have the middle SKU. I don't have the extra screen of the 512 SSD in mine. Mine's the 256. Yeah, if they're making a profit on it, it's like nothing. But their whole thing is get their hardware in you, and it's like, oh, I can just go. The nice thing is, like, you can search the Steam store on there so quick and easily now, and it's just like, oh, I want all these Steam games, and they have these sections right on deck, and it puts you there easily when you're going on the Steam store on there, and it's just getting you to keep throwing money back into the ecosystem and keep you in the ecosystem.
Right. And that's the idea, and that's the play of like doing that loss leader thing. But I think the more successful and the more of these devices that are out there that are alternatives that people want, it's going to make it harder for them. Because if they can't sell enough units and they're not making money at all on some of these, or only a small amount of profit, people aren't buying more Steam games because they have that device, then that makes it very hard for that to keep it as that low price. Like the future Steam Decks might not be that cheap, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, later revisions they will.
Yeah.
With better specs, they're gonna increase the cost. I'm interested to see where this is gonna fall in the market, because this is one of the more higher tier ones. Are people gonna go to this because there's so many devices in this market now? You got like the Ion Neo Light or Air, I can't remember what they call it, which is a cheap version of this.
Yeah.
Of these kind of things. So it's going to be interesting to see how all these different play, because they all have strengths and weaknesses, that it's not just an easy thing to say one device is better than them all, because some do things better in better areas to make it be like, oh, this is better for this. So what do you prefer?
It was interesting. I was going to say, it was interesting, Burley, you brought up the Alienware earlier. I mean, I thought that was going to take off, but it never did.
Yeah, I remember.
But if they would have released it, because Alienware really, you're paying for the name. Yeah, it would have been like $1,500 US.
Probably. Yeah, it would have been massively expensive. Yeah. So.
I think there's an awkward area that some people might start to realize, where like, you games are like, oh, it's deck verified, right? And you're like, okay, that means it'll work on the Steam Deck. Cool. Right. But if you are on the ROG Ally or you're on this Lenovo thing, you don't need to be verified. It'll literally run every Steam game in existence, which is weird that the non-Steam device will run every Steam game in existence, but the Steam Deck won't.
Yeah, it's because they're using Linux instead of Microsoft, instead of Windows.
Right. Okay, guys, let's talk about what was the last couch co-op game you played? I'm just throwing that question out there because it's
Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Minecraft.
Minecraft. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, probably me too. Yeah, I mean, so this story, Little Nightmares 3. Of course, a lot of people are excited for Little Nightmares 3. I played both of the Little Nightmares games. They're really fun, to play. So the developer came out and explained that it's going to be online co-op only. So there's not going to be a couch co-op mode in this game. And I'm going to read a little bit of this for you. So this is from nme.com. So let me go ahead and get the trailer going. So, yeah. So Little Nightmares 3 has responded to fan feedback and will include a co-op mode, but it's only online co-op. So Bandai Namco, Europe producer, Caroline Fanilo and Supermassive Games director Wayne Garland explained the design decision in an interview with Games Radar. While the first 2 titles in the Creepy series were developed by Tarsier Studios, the team behind Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology is taking the reins on this one. So basically, co-op was the most requested feature from our fans, so it was really important for us to give them that, rationalized Faniello, explaining that the shared odyssey through Little Nightmares 3's Necropolis will, quote, add a layer to the game that is unlike the others, quote, but at the same time, we really want the player to experience it as they want. So that's why we kept single player. So if you don't play online co-op, you would be able to play with AI with you, added the producer, in quote, added the producer. So, but Little Nightmares 3 will only feature online co-op as it makes sure players are anchored in the atmosphere of the game. Quote, we've been asked questions about online versus couch co-op. Couch is something, let me go ahead and stop this real quick as I'm trying to read it here. So get this in, there we go. So, quote, we've been asked questions about online versus couch co-op. Couch is something that we've considered, in quote, answered Garland. But, quote, again, when you come back to the atmosphere and the immersion that we're trying to elicit through Little Nightmares, I think it was important for us that we stuck to our online co-op only rather than the traditional more party aspects, end quote. So Little Nightmares 3 centers on Lo and Alone, 2 new characters to the series. However, even in this new settling, Fanilio assured fans that they will find references to the horrors of Little Nightmares 1 and 2 in the world. So, yeah, let's talk about this. So, is this going to become a new trend where we start seeing games omit regular couch co-op for online co-op? What do you think? Burley, I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, this has been a trend for a number of years now. Remember, this was a whole thing, Halo Infinite. We're no longer going to do the couch co-op. That was a thing that I was not very happy with. This of like, we want to focus on online, so you can't scrap a little to do local co-op. Like, I get this, they are a much smaller team compared to 343, but this is still like, come on, do couch co-op. It sadly is going to go away mostly. It's going to be people like Nintendo keeping it alive in their games, but other than that, it's going to be a barren wasteland of what games will keep it. I still want couch co-op for that way when I do have friends and stuff and we're coming down, and it's nice to just play instead of, okay, it's got to be online only. Sorry, you got to be in another room, hook you up and connect online, or you be at your house to play it. Like, have both options. I know it takes some work. I know it takes some effort and all that, but it is worth it in the end to have both.
Yeah, I agree. I think that players should ultimately always have as many choices as possible. But I understand where they're coming from with the immersion and all that. But yeah, I mean, give players the opportunity to do just traditional couch co-op. So, but Carl, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it does depend on the game. I think this seems like a game where they probably should have it. But there's a lot of games where you can see like it doesn't really matter that much anymore. I mean, Halo seems like that's the case, other than the fact that traditionally speaking, right, people expected it from Halo.
And they promised it.
Right, and they promised it, right. That aside, let's say Halo Infinite was a brand new IP, right?
Yeah.
Nobody would expect couch co-op.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's that type of situation. Like, that's what where we are now in gaming. You know, in the Halo example, I mean, now that the whole thing that happened with Baldur's Gate 3, you guys are, I mean, I'm sure you know the story.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like the Series S was sort of making it difficult for them to get couch co-op on Halo. And I feel like that's maybe why they canceled it. And now it seems like because they changed their mind and they're allowing Baldur's Gate 3 to ship on the S without co-op, they should probably go back and put it in Halo Infinite for the X at the very least.
Yeah.
I would love to see that, but yeah, I mean, look, there was an interesting story that was told. I think it was on Xbox 2 podcast, where he was telling the story of how like one of the Lego Star Wars games, right, had, I think at some point it had, not Star Wars, just Lego games in general, right, those type of games, didn't have co-op or something, couch co-op, and then people begged for it, and they added it in to like a few of the games, and then at some point they stopped doing it, and they were asked why, like someone in the industry was asking her, I think it might have been one of maybe Jazz or someone was saying, I don't remember the story that well, but saying that when they spoke about it, they said like, look, the numbers just aren't there, like people just aren't using it enough to justify us to actually make this feature.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality, people aren't using it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's okay. So yeah, not many people are using it, but some people are. So even if you have to implement it later, but at least give those few people that are wanting to play it the chance to do it. I just, that's my thought on it, but
yeah. I mean, it's a business, right? Like, what is it getting you, right? Like, if 1%, and that's very low, but maybe it's higher, but like, if only 1% of your audience or your total people who bought the game use it,
right. But it's 1% of those people that will continue to come back because they have that choice. I mean, how much does it cost them to implement, couch co-op? I mean, if it costs them millions of dollars, then yeah, I can justify.
It depends on the game, right?
It depends on the game, maybe, yeah. But a game like Little Nightmares 3 and games similar to it, I think that it's becoming a trend. We're not going to throw it in there anymore, and that's going to for people that love to play couch co-op, I think that's gonna hurt them. But
yeah. I mean, like really said about Nintendo, it'll be there for those games, and those are the games that make most sense, right? The party type games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is Little Nightmares 3 a party? Not really, right? You might have your friend come over
for Halloween, maybe for Halloween,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I think in most likelihood in today's world, people are going to be like, yeah, let's play Little Nightmares 2. Okay, I'm home, you're home. That's how we're going to play it.
Yeah. But I mean, like Burley said, though, I mean, just give people the option. I mean, if it costs a lot of money to implement, oh well. It's I just think more choice. I mean, that's like Phil Spencer. That's and at Xbox, that's what they're trying to do with all of their gamers now. Give them more choice. Like play everywhere. Well, play everywhere and play in the type of mode you want to play in. So
what if they said, all right, we'll do it, but we'll charge you for it?
Yeah, it's
it
might be a small minority, but then that small minority, might not buy games anymore in a certain way. So it's like you want to try to please as many gamers as you can. I don't know. So Burley, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if they do the charging route, it's just gonna backfire, because it'd be like, okay, you're not gonna charge me for co-op. You're doing that now. What's to stop you 2 years from now for your next project being like, okay, we're gonna charge a co-op. People like this thing and this feature in this game, we can charge for that, because other games have done that.
That's why they wouldn't do it. But if they were upfront and honest and were like, look, numbers say that the amount of money we're going to spend on this isn't going to net us anything. So
I just want to know how much
you need to pay $5 extra.
Well, I want to know how much
able to do it.
I want to know how much it costs them to implement that couch co-op.
It's impossible to say, like any one single feature, right? Like impossible.
Well, they won't tell you. They'll say it'll take a tons and tons of man hours. Yeah. But who the heck knows on a project like this, and what stages they're at with it, how hard it for them to go back. I just feel give the option. I don't think it's something like, I know we do a lot of online, but it is nice for people that have people that come down, or you're a family together. Like if you and your significant other, or if you live with a bunch of friends, you want to play a game together.
Yeah.
And it's instead of being like, okay, I got this, I bought it. Now we both don't need to go buy a copy of the game, have the same console, pay for the online subscription just to play online. Like,
I think, Nintendo is probably the champion of this, champion platform when it comes to, this type of mode. So they're probably smiling, and it's like, hey, just come to us, and all the games that we have here, you can play couch co-op if you want to as well. So as well as online co-op. So
it Takes Two was really smart. In the way they had the thing where they gave you like a pass or something for someone else to play, right?
That was genius.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's a good way to make this work. But again, that was a game that was co-op only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that studio is that's their bread and butter, is to make co-op games. So
it's like Little Nightmares 3. You can play it single player. It's like, are they gonna be like, here, you get 2 copies for one, just because?
Oh God,
and that's how the majority of players are going to play it. They're going to play it single player, But all right, let's get to the topic of the show, guys. So we were talking about Sea of Stars, and we'll show a little bit more of that. We were talking about Starfield. Lots of RPGs this year. Tons of RPGs. Baldur's Gate. Carl, you were playing Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes.
So, I mean,
great game.
tons of RPGs out this year. So our topic of the show, has 2023 been a giant leap forward for RPGs? And is it the best year ever for RPGs? I mean, Burley, you're playing Sea of Stars now, and like you're saying, it's a love letter to RPGs, traditional RPGs. I'm playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I mean, it's so many great RPGs this year, guys. So let's talk about it, and I'll go ahead and show some of the trailers for some of these amazing RPGs this year. I don't know. Where do you want to begin? I mean, Baldur's Gate right now is like, the biggest one. Of course, Starfield is now in the hands of people that have gotten the Ultimate Edition. And of course, on September 6th, the masses are going to be playing it. Final Fantasy 16, that was huge as well, especially on the PlayStation.
Oh, you actually play Final Fantasy 16, then I'll hear you say stuff on it.
I'm sure I'll say the same.
Oh no.
Oh man, all right. Yeah, I love that. That's why this is the arena. It's like, you got the Xbox side, you got the PlayStation side, you got the Nintendo stuff. Yeah. But anyway, RPGs, guys, what do you think? I mean, is this, in your opinion, the best year ever for RPGs?
Pretty great one, for sure. Hey, what's this going on? I see this Dr. Soda, this Sea of Stars greater than Starfield, and Burley agreeing without ever having played Starfield, and he's giving me grief for Final Fantasy 16.
Welcome
Dang,
on in,
he actually
Dr.
read the
Soda.
chat for once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Carl. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Soda, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate you coming in and chatting with us. So,
you still got more to come too, and you got Octopath Traveler 2. You can't forget about.
Mm-hmm.
You got Persona 5 Tactica coming. This is a game I'm interested in. The Lamplighters League coming.
Dragon Quest Monsters, something Prince. And then not to mention in November, we got two pivotal RPGs getting remade. You have Star Ocean 2 being remade.
Yeah.
And Super Mario RPG. Oh,
Super Mario RPG is so good. Yeah, I'm so happy. Like, I'm not going to buy it because I'm probably not going to play it right now, or I don't have the time. But, like, I highly recommend you play. So many people have not experienced this game. It was a
Mhm.
Super Nintendo only game. It was a late Super Nintendo game, and I don't think they even made that many copies of that game.
Out here in the West, they didn't. I first played the game because I had surgery. I was in surgery for as a kid, and they brought in a Super Nintendo before while I was waiting to get prepped. That was one of the few games that they had, that and F-Zero and Sim City. I played the Super Mario RPG the most.
So, yeah, man, that's a good bunch, though. I gotta say, that Super Nintendo SimCity was pretty damn good. But yeah, it wasn't this year, but late last year, Chained Echoes as well, another love letter RPG, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to see, like, even the turn-based RPG like that I love, like, definitely getting a comeback, right, in a lot of ways. Baldur's Gate 3 is a turn-based RPG, and I actually didn't even realize that until the game was out, actually.
Yeah.
Which because Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 weren't, right? Like, they were that actiony, pause the combat. You could set your actions and then it would just play out.
Yeah.
I mean, and then going to next year, we got a bunch of stuff too. I mean, stuff was delayed even from this year. You had the Suikoden 1 and 2 that was supposed to come this year. The remasters on those that got delayed. The spiritual successor, Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes was also supposed to be this year and delayed.
Right.
There's just so much like in the RPG space, like this year going into next year, and even a little bit, like last year as well. And it's incredible time for the genre for sure.
And Diablo 4 here, as we're showing.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's an ARPG.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an RPG, trust me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder, like, does it get nominated for like best RPG, or will it be in like the action category?
It'd be in the action category, I would imagine.
Probably action, but
that's where Final Fantasy 16 belongs.
Final Fantasy 16 belongs in both.
Yes.
Well,
I agree.
Technically, it probably shouldn't be in either, but.
Sick 'em, Torgal.
Yeah.
That reference.
No, I haven't played it.
Yeah.
Could be great.
But it is a great game. I really enjoyed 16. But like this year has been a love letter to RPGs. You're getting all different styles. And
okay, so stop. I'm going to make this. This is going to become a drinking party now, guys. So all of you out in chat, anytime Burley says this is a love letter to RPGs, you have to take a shot because we are recording in the evenings now in the U.S. and in Canada. So for you guys and for me, it's noon here on Saturdays here in Japan. So yeah, we can take our shots now. So.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Burley. I'm sorry. You can continue now.
Like this year, we've had a lot of different types of RPGs, and the quality, for the most part, I haven't played all of them. Like I do own Octopath Traveler 2. I bought it on the Steam sale, but like the quality has been really good. These games have been reviewing well and hearing good things from people that are playing them. Like this is great. It's been a while in terms of years where we've had this many come out and be so good and people talking. And I have friends that have played most of them and are still debating, was this better than this? Was this better than this? Well, this game had this, but I really like this function with this game. And it's nice and awesome to see.
I kind of think that the fact that so many games have been adding RPG elements to them, right? Like God of War, right, is a good example. Like, it's not an RPG, but they added a ton of RPG elements, when they rebooted or did the soft sort of reboot, right? And I think that is having the effect of people realizing that like RPGs are awesome again. Like we're forgetting like the regular standard RPG, the ones that are like definitively RPGs. Mm-hmm. That's where all those mechanics came from. And if you like them, let
me just throw this question out there to you, Carl, and to Burley. So, should every AAA game now be considered an RPG?
Well, no. Like
I
this
mean,
one you got up
or
here,
to
like,
say
that's not an
that
RPG.
every AAA game that comes out now has some type of RPG element to it.
This is true for the most part.
Yeah.
A lot. There are some that don't, but like even like Call of Duty, since like I think Call of Duty 3 or 4 for the online, it's all RPG elements of your guns. Of this adds this to this stat. This changes this stat with your gun damage, your reload, and all that. Yeah, no. So many games have been gaining over the years more and more RPG elements.
I was
Here you
looking
go.
at the list.
Tears
and
of the
there's-
Kingdom game of the year.
Yeah, not an RPG though. Let's just get that out there. Out of the way. It will not be nominated for RPG. If it does, riots in the street.
I don't know if it'll be nominated for RPG of the year. It's going to be in Game of the Year.
It should be an action game of the year. But I don't know.
It might also be an action,
Yeah.
like open world game. Like it can be potentially in a lot of different categories. But trust me, this is an RPG when you really start getting into it.
Yeah.
And putting the time.
Yes.
Something
I agree.
that Burley forgot, I guess, is Fire Emblem Engage came out this year.
I was about to say Engage. That was actually my next thing that came out in
Okay.
January.
Yeah.
It is your turn-based RPG. It's better than Three Houses.
It
And
is
yeah.
definitely not better.
Have you played Engage?
I don't need to.
I think you need to. I played both. I can tell you, I love both. Both
Yeah.
are great games in the series.
But beyond that, you also had Persona 4 Golden, come out to a bunch more platforms, and Persona 3 Portable. You sort of remastering or releasing on modern consoles.
Yeah.
Well, it's more, aren't they both like the handheld ports of the games and just porting them other, which is nice.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I love games that were trapped on other systems, getting them out on more consoles and more platforms for people to get access to them and enjoy them. It's always a good thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, War
Tales, which I loved. This is a PC only game, right? That was this year as well. Turn-based strategy, type game.
Yeah.
Cassette Beasts.
Yeah, there you go. That's another one.
Yeah.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot, right? That came this year.
Yeah.
Oh, Honkai Star Rail. We can't forget that. That game's
Honkai Star Rail.
We can forget that one.
Well, one's okay. It's been on mobile, but it's coming to console. So
huge monster success, that game.
Yeah.
Live Alive was this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the PS4 and Steam port.
Yeah, that's a remake. So
yeah, no, we can still count it because it was only Switch last year.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
they did a wide release this year.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't count that one. You're right. Darkest Dungeon 2 came out of early access this year. It's another PC only one.
Yeah.
Oh man, Fuga Melodies of Steel 2 was this year, which I mean, highly rated. I don't know that it was talked about a lot, but
yeah.
There's just so many.
I've been trying to think, and I was thinking and trying to go back to some years and see what was a year that we could even kind of compare with the amount we got. And it's been hard. It's like there were great years for RPGs where you get 2 or 3 of them in a year, and you're like, holy crap, this was a great year. But this one, you got stuff in January, February,
every month,
April, March.
Something coming.
It's like every other month you've gotten a big RPG.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you really can compare when you look at the gambit of what's out there, right? As far as your actions, your turn-based, your tactical, right? Your indies, your triple A's, your double A's, and your remasters, your remakes.
Every classification.
You got everything.
Everything. So, yeah. This is personally one of my favorites of the year is Jedi Survivor. Because as you guys know, I'm a big Star Wars fan. So
but again, I'm not even sure this would be an RPG. It has RPG elements, but
then it should be classified as one. Then.
Yeah,
it
it's
has
so
elements.
Hard. It's too hard at this point. What makes Hogwarts Legacy an RPG and this maybe not? Only because they specifically said it was. I don't even know.
Yeah, like I can understand with Carl on this with this and Hogwarts Legacy. It's a little kind of stepping over.
Mhm.
But like this year, if there's a genre for RPG, you can just
Yeah.
name that a game came out for it,
Yeah.
which is great, and a lot of these RPGs have done stuff over the last couple of years, making the barrier to entry easier. Like I was talking Sea of Stars earlier,
Yeah.
the relic system, love that. I have people that are not too big into turn-based RPGs, and we're worried, especially with the whole timed hits mechanic, it's being like, I don't want to master this. I'm not that good at this kind of stuff. I like the story. I like the art style. So I want to just get into the game, play it, and get myself immersed in the story and see where this game takes me.
Yeah.
Like within the first half hour to an hour, you get a relic. You get they give you like 2 relics, and one of them is after every battle, you're restored to 100% HP, I think MP as well, and they boost your stats up a bit. So that way you're a little bit better prepared. Plus, there are other relics you gain through chests and buying at shops that just makes the game. You can tailor the difficulty to what you want it to be, which is nice because not every RPG, not every game are you getting difficulty options.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that I think does bar some people from playing those type of games, like the older, Personas, right? The Persona versions that most people are playing now, like Portable, Golden, even like Royal, right? Persona 5 Royal, have added quality of life elements that actually make them easier. So that does help them. I think it helps the wider audience get into them because a lot of people don't want to do that like heavy grind in these type of games to get through it. Chained Echoes actually by default has that thing you talked about in Sea of Stars, where you go back to full health and MP at the end of every battle. It's just how the game is designed.
Yeah.
And it works incredibly well actually because the game is balanced so well that like you could just die in a regular enemy fight because you weren't prepared, you just didn't have the right strategy. You actually really don't need to grind and be prepared. It's just all about the strategy.
Which I appreciate it. And like they released earlier in the year, the Pixel remasters came out on a Steam and PlayStation. I ended up picking it up on PlayStation because Square decided to just jerk me around for 4 months on Rainmaker and not give me keys. So I bought out them, and like these are games, a lot of them I've played a few times. One of the nice like quality of life things they did for people that want to get into them is, hey, you can turn up the EXP game. So that way you don't have to fight every random encounter. But like in the case I was replaying Final Fantasy 1, it's nice. Turn the EXP and the guild gain up. So that way you can just fight a couple random encounters, still be at the levels you need to be, and have the money you need to be, and you can just go through the game you want. And if you want to turn off random encounters, you can turn them off. So you can customize how you play and making it better that way, which is going to be nice for me to go to that version of like the versions of 4 and 5 there. Because like 5 can get pretty grindy with the job system. So turning stuff like that on just to make it so, because I don't have all the time in the world, just re-experience these games, go through, have some quality of life and upgrades, and just play, play even if it's only for an hour. Feel like I'm making progress for what I'm doing in 1 hour that I would normally have to do in 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a great year, and it's going to continue into next year. And I don't know if next year can compete because it might be missing it's going to be missing the Diablo 4s, Starfields, Final Fantasy 16s, right? The big heavy hitters.
Well,
but it has. I
was going to say, we do have a big heavy hitter we know is coming earlier in the year, I think they said.
Which one? You mean like Persona 3 Reload?
We got that, and FF7
Infinite
Rebirth.
Wealth? Oh, right. I don't count those. No, I'm kidding. Again, yes. That is a big one, right? So you got FF7 Rebirth. Off the top of my head, right? You got Persona 3 Reload. You got Metaphor Refantasio.
Yeah.
Then you got Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Well,
I mean,
Metaphor is coming this year. I
No,
think.
it's not. It's not this year.
Oh, it's early next year. Okay, I thought it was late.
There's no date on Metaphor, but early next year has a date now, February.
Yeah.
For Reload, right?
Yeah.
And then of course you got the delayed ones, like I said, of Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster, and your Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Hands. And I'm sure there's other ones I'm not remembering, but there will be others.
Like a Dragon.
I said, I mentioned Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Yeah.
It's like there's some really great stuff coming next year. It's going to be another great year for RPGs.
Yeah, and Gaiden's coming later this year. So yeah.
Again, is that an RPG? I don't know. At this point, like, are the regular Yakuza games RPGs?
Yeah, they have elements to them. Yeah, for sure.
They have heavy RPG elements.
Yeah,
elements,
so,
for
and
sure.
Judgment and Lost Judgment. Yeah, so
Judgment 3.
yeah, it's coming, man. It's coming. Maybe next year we'll get an announcement for it. So
Yeah.
but,
Oh,
and then
that's
obviously
great, man.
the biggest of the big ones. It probably isn't coming next year, but GTA 6.
But see, that's not an
Yeah.
RPG, right? I mean, it's RPG
It has-
elements.
Yeah, so classified
No,
as
that's
an RPG.
that's Casino Simulator.
yeah. So, yeah. Red Dead Redemption 3. There you go. That kind of
I mean,
I
the
think
devs,
that ain't coming for years unless
No,
they need money.
Yeah.
Gorilla was trying to say Horizon is an RPG, and I'm like, I don't think so.
When are they going to announce Horizon 3, Burley? Next year, maybe?
Well,
Announce
they've announced they're
it, yeah.
working on it.
Yeah, they've announced they're working on it, but I mean, announce to get a teaser trailer for it.
I mean, it's got to be too soon, right?
That's way too soon.
Yeah.
Really? Next year?
Yeah.
Next year to get a short,
we had the
5-second teaser trailer. Yeah.
We had the DLC earlier in the
Yeah.
year.
Well, maybe we'll get just the title.
I think they're just going to be saying, no, Horizon's way too early out, other than, hey, we're working on Horizon 3. But next year, I don't think we'll live up as strong as this year.
Yeah.
I think next year has the potential of being strong. Like, you got Persona, I think it's in February.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's going to be popular.
Well,
And just how many, like some of the other games Carl mentioned, and what else we got
Ghost of
shown.
Tsushima 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Again,
gonna come.
that's not an RPG. No.
In your
Actually, no.
classification, Burley, yeah. Or Carl, yeah. But
Yeah.
No, that's just greatness. Let's
Oh, you know
just
what we
agree
forgot?
there.
For this year, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty,
yeah, Phantom
big
Liberty.
expansion,
Yeah.
for an RPG.
Yeah, it's true.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is not going to be, so much RPG, but
Thank
probably when the next mainline Assassin's Creed comes out, which is going to be focused on Japan, it will be. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the
that's
RPG ones. Yeah,
That's going to be big. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, 2023 been a super year for RPGs. Yeah, it's going to be hard for 2024 to match this year, but we shall see. And we're excited to play all the others that are coming soon. Yeah. So.
Dare them to try, because it will just make me happy to play more great games.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I can literally just play only RPGs and have a great time for the entire year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And especially with years like this kind of year,
Yeah.
you've got tons of content with like how long some of these games get, especially with Octopath Traveler 2 being quite long.
Yeah.
That's a quite long one. It's like you can dine on that for quite a while. Sea of Stars, even though it's shorter, you've got that'll keep you busy. Baldur's Gate 3, that's massive.
Yeah.
You can be
I know,
dining on RPGs.
I'm just stacked with RPGs for this year. Like I will probably play nothing but that for the rest of the year, because I got Starfield. I'm not going to finish Baldur's Gate 3, so I'm going to want to go back to that.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Tactica, Sea of Stars. I do want to still try, Lamplighters League when that comes out. So that's 5 games right there. I will not have enough time for the rest of the year to get through all those games.
I don't know. I'm going to be playing Starfield and some of those others you mentioned. But yeah, they're very time consuming. That's for sure.
And then going into next year, I already know I'm playing, Persona 3 Reload and then Infinite Wealth. I mean, those are early in the year.
And FF7 Rebirth.
Yeah.
There
I
you
played
go.
the first
Early
one.
Final
Okay?
Fantasy.
I can say
Yeah.
that I do not want to play the second one because I played the first one. So
yeah. And of course Spider-Man 2 is coming. I'm gonna play the hell out of that. So
see, that's not happening.
For you.
For me.
Oh,
I'm
that's day one. I cannot wait for Spider 2.
I'm already stuffed, man. I'm full. I'm eating so good on my turn-based RPGs.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which they had the direct earlier this week, and we talked about it on the live show, the weekday live show. I'm excited for that as well. So
Mario and as well as the Mario RPG remake. I'm glad to be going back to that, and Star Ocean 2, because I love that was my intro to the Star Ocean series, and that game is. If you've played it, either the PS1 version or how I played it on the PSP, and that PSP version was so good.
Yeah.
Then from what they've shown of this version, this remake is like, November is going to be tough because I got one RPG at the 1st of November and one like 15 days later.
Yeah, I mean, the game that I'll still, with all those other games, the one that I'll still be playing, probably forever is Starfield. So that's gonna be.
I'm excited to be playing that for a very long time, and I'll take a break and hopefully come back for the expansion, and there'll probably be multiple expansions that they usually are for their games.
Yeah. And then into next year, I'm hoping that Hellblade 2 comes out. I'm going to play the hell out of that when it comes out.
Oh, yeah. One I forgot. Big one for Xbox anyway. Avowed. Yeah.
Avowed as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is next year. Yeah, that I can't wait for.
Is Fable next year, Carl?
No.
You don't think so? No. Not even end of the year next year. No.
2025.
It's probably not, but
okay.
I think there could be something that we don't know at the end of 2024 and 2024 for Xbox, but
Perfect Dark, I don't see that next year. That's ways off still.
Yeah, we need to get into that conversation.
I
don't expect that.
That's way out. Yeah. So,
I don't expect that.
All right. Well,
it's like my least anticipated Xbox game.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into new game releases and our pick of the week. And usually we pick a different game, but this week, Burley picked Sea of Stars last week. Yeah, but this week it's unanimous. And I mean, it's going to be Starfield as our pick of the week because it's coming out on the 6th and it's already out for, those who got the Ultimate Edition. So you can go to releases.com and check out all of the releases for this week and all into September and beyond. So go to releases.com. And of course, like I said, our unanimous pick is Starfield. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of it for you here. So, yes, Starfield marks the birth of a brand new universe from Bethesda Game Studios. And now my computer is messing with me. There we go. Okay. All right, here we go. So, the first in over 25 years and comes from the acclaimed creators of the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, and Fallout 4. This next-generation role-playing game propels you into the cosmos, where you have the freedom to create any character and explore with an unprecedented sense of liberation. Your epic journey to unravel humanity's greatest enigma awaits. Set in the year 2330, humanity has transcended the bounds of our solar system, colonizing new planets and embracing existence as a spacefaring civilization. In Starfield, you'll become a part of Constellation, the last cohort of space explorers on a quest for rare artifacts scattered across the galaxy. Your navigation through the vast and uncharted expanse of space is at the core of Bethesda Game Studios' most ambitious and expansive game yet. Explore, discover, and shape your own path in a unique universe filled with limitless possibilities. So, yes. Good stuff. Yeah. September 6th. Yeah.
You know, we don't have any other picks, but I will just point out,
Mhm.
PlayStation fans, PlayStation players, put your money where your mouth is and buy Baldur's Gate 3 for PlayStation 5 on the 6th.
The true
6th
console.
of September. Hey.
Okay. So the year 2330. So that's close to the next generation era. Yeah. So, you know, so
Yeah.
maybe somebody in the game, Burley, will mod the Enterprise D. I'm sure they will.
I'm sure it's already being done as we speak.
Yeah, all the Enterprises, all the versions of the Enterprises, yeah, they'll be out there somewhere. Yeah.
There'll be Patrick Stewart models. Trust you just give it a day or two and the modders will have it.
Yeah, and modding planets. I mean, that's the amazing thing about this.
Yeah,
being
they
able to
said
mod
you could
planets. Yeah.
like make a whole planet.
Yeah.
Oh God, man, this is gonna be wild.
Yeah, can you imagine just you're building a base, but you want to mod a planet that the environmental, you know, conditions are just so, you know, problematic for, you know, for raiders and pirates and things like that. So like make an ice planet or something, you know.
How soon before we see like, hey, Skyrim is a planet in this game?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm sure it's being worked around right now. Someone's doing Skyrim.
Tatooine is gonna be So
someone's doing Morrowind.
Yeah,
give it a by the time the game fully releases to everyone, that's a good chunk of that stuff will have already been done.
Yeah, but it's like, when does like copyright type of issues come into play when it comes to that modding stuff? I mean, because you know, you get someone modding Tatooine from the Star Wars universe and all the, you know, the X-Wings and all that stuff. You know, you get Lucasfilm, it's like, come on, guys, you know, you can't be doing all that stuff.
Yeah, right. X-Wings, yeah. That's a big one. Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And it actually looks like a Starfield kind of ship.
You know, it's coming. You know, you're gonna get the Ghost and all that other stuff. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah. All right. So next up, it's time to talk about the games on PlayStation Plus for the month of September. So Burley, take it away. What do we got for September for PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, this is not a good month. We got the Saints
right
Row.
Away. The negativity comes out.
Oh no!
Well, do you want me to?
Please continue.
Sugarcoat it or be honest.
Be honest. Go for it.
Saints Row from PS4, PS5. Yeah, that was the remake that came out last year that did not do well, did not come out well, was not received well. No one liked it.
I don't know if you guys talked about this on the Daily Show, but the game that just shut down Volition, they just closed the studio.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, it was this was the main game that shut them down. There are other two games that they did before, did not perform. This was the final nail in the coffin, but because this was the bigger game and going to, you know, save Volition. Yeah, this is just really, really Sony. This is something you want to give. What, like I don't want trash.
But it was cheap early.
Yeah,
it probably cost Sony $10.
Yeah,
like
and honestly, Black Desert. I mean, they're getting ready to discontinue that, right?
Dude, how old is Black Desert?
Yeah,
Black
it's like
Desert
over 10 years old. It's over 10 years old, and Crimson Desert, the next game is coming out soon. So
yeah. I was gonna say Black Desert's 9 years old. It's 2014.
Zero.
So it's like it's an old game that's not gonna last too much longer. But it's like, hey, but this is the edition they're giving you is a bundle of the base game and some of the add-ons, which is okay. At least they're giving you some of the add-ons, but hey, I don't know how long this game's gonna last. So if you want to try it, you better play it quick.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, and in our post show, which is exclusive for our patrons, we're also going to be covering and talking a little bit more about the PlayStation Plus subscription hikes that are going to be going into effect. So if you if you're interested in checking out our post show content, which is exclusive to our Patreon, patreon.com/The Arena Productions, you can come and check that out over there. So by becoming a patron, go ahead, Carl. You were going to say.
Yeah, I forget this is the essential tier, right? So like we shouldn't maybe be as harsh, but the fact that they're raising the price by what is it? Is it $20 per year, or what was
between $30 and $40? It depends on the tier.
20 for the essential, 30 for the extra, and 40 for about 40 for premium. But the last game, Generation Zero, I feel is only put here because Armored Core came at the end of August.
Yeah,
it's out of the 3 games here, it's the one I'd probably actually sit and play. Like this Saints Row game, I remember seeing it when it came out. I was like, you guys dropped the ball on that. Black Desert, it's like, why would I play this if Crimson Desert, the next game is coming like very soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
edition.
Okay, I'm thinking of downloading Saints Row though and trying it, and seeing, what it's like. So, all right, okay. So that is the PlayStation Plus games for September. So you can go and check that out over at the PlayStation blog. So next up, Carl, we got some Game Pass drops for September. So let's go ahead and go over what is coming in September. So,
this was a drop from the 15th of August. Like, so there isn't really like the official September one yet. That'll be on Tuesday. So I don't know what you got. These are games that are coming. So Greece,
Liza P is coming. Later in the month.
That one we know, right? Officially. So I don't really have that stuff up, but the Greece is September 5th. That is one that was announced officially on the the drops, right? The Tuesday drops.
Yeah.
Everything else is sort of out already. This stuff is obviously Starfield. Yeah, that was on the 6th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever Liza P's release date, I don't even know. And Party Animals either.
I think Liza P is the 19th.
19th, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also Party Animals is the 20th. And
Liza P, but then if you buy the Ultimate Edition, you can play it 5 days early.
Oh, yeah.
Is it actually got one of those things?
I see you got Payday 3 on there. Like, what's even the date on Payday 3? Do we have that?
21st, and Cocoon is the 29th, as we know for now.
All right. So these will be, again, like this will be shown later officially with Xbox, like when they do their drops, even though we know, right? Because these were announced. I also want to mention one that was a shadow drop, which was the Age of Empires for Xbox version that is now on Game Pass as of Gamescom. So, a bunch of great stuff. But again, we'll talk about it next week because Tuesday the 5th they will have a drop. So,
which games are you going to play Liza P day one?
I don't have time for that.
And I don't feel like raging myself.
Rage quitting,
I wish you all the best.
Unless Liza P has the Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, where you can make the difficulty more tolerable instead of the standard Souls game or Souls-like, then it's just not a game I'm going to touch. For me, Party Animals is one I can't wait to play. And since I can play that online, I can, as a Twitch streamer, I can play this with people in my chat. This just seems like this is going to be one of those where I'm doing Mario Kart and other games like Jackbox and stuff where I can just interact and have a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I played the Liza P demo and I liked it. I'm not a fan of those type of games, but I thought it was really interesting. So I think it will do fairly well, but I hope it's a good game. I liked what I saw.
I might stream it, and then Burley can watch me rage quit. Yeah, because nobody's ever seen me
you'll
truly
rage.
rage quit. Yeah,
It's tough.
You will rage, especially
Yeah.
since they said 3 playthroughs, and each playthrough is like 40 hours. They're
Oh,
saying
no way. No, yeah. That's insane. But yeah.
you're not going to go for all 3. 3.
If I've got
endings?
enough spiritual opium in me, Burley, maybe I can do that. Yeah, we'll see.
I got better games to play.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
But I want to
just-
play it. I want to try it. I just the world and everything and experience it. So
I got RPGs to play. Wait, is that an RPG? I guess.
yeah,
If Elden Ring
Technically,
is
yes.
an RPG, then I guess this is.
yeah. All right, so it's time for our programming notes for the Arena Productions. Obviously, we do entertainment and pop culture related content here as well. And I put up our episode 3 recap and review of Star Wars Ahsoka. So time to fly. So you can go and check that out here on our Star Wars Republic show. So got that up as well. And next week, Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4 begins, and we're going to be doing a recap and
Oh, that's
discussion
awesome.
episodes next week. Yeah, starting
I
September
didn't even know.
7th. Yeah, September 7th. So we will be doing a recap and discussion episodes for each and every episode of Season 4. So we're really looking forward to that. So, yeah. And there was news about a week ago, and we talked about it on the live show, that in this season, Mariner, Boimler, and the ensign crew they're getting promoted. So yeah, in season 4. So it'll be
Cool.
interesting to see. Yeah, so cool stuff. And of course, Burley and I, we do the Arena Productions Live, which is our weekday show. We record 4:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Monday through Friday. So we talk about the daily gaming news and entertainment, pop culture related stories. So you can come and check us out on the Arena Productions Live. We do that on weekdays. So yeah, good stuff. And finally, we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/the Arena Productions. So of course, all of our content that we have up here on YouTube, it is also on our Patreon. And you can watch those episodes ad-free. And we also have exclusive content like our post show, which I said earlier, we're going to be talking more about the PlayStation Plus price hikes during the post show. And we record our post shows usually right after we finish recording the episode of the podcast here. So those are exclusive to Patreon, our patrons over at patreon.com/the Arena Productions. So, and we also have a free 7-day trial for our Patreon. So you can come and check that out over on the site. So if you want to help support our content that we create over there, as well as here on YouTube, please go and check out our Patreon, patreon.com/the Arena Productions. So yeah.
Where's
cool
where's the One Piece review and the
One Piece.
and
One Piece.
I'm doing.
Burley's
that with
working
another-
on that, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, with one of our patrons.
Patrons. Yeah.
Fryman 14. We're
Uh-huh.
doing on
Nice.
his channel. We're doing reviews of the One Piece. I have not, even though I read the manga, I have not
Okay.
watched them yet. I haven't had the time.
I see.
what about Wheel of Time season 2 for the fantasy show?
Carl, hey, whenever you get some free time, hey, we can do that as well
All
as
I'll leave
Dune
that
and
one to you
Dune
and Expat. I got enough
Dune
shows and enough footage.
Twisted
Dune.
Metal, which I've done like 4 episodes on my
Oh,
own.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So, yeah, Wheels of Time. I'd love to do that, but yeah, just so much content and a lot of
know,
the
it's kinda-
creation falls on me here. So
I do want to
but-
watch it.
yeah.
I liked season 1, and
yeah, it's good stuff.
from
yeah.
the reviews I see, it has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, I mean, TV reviews sometimes, it's not necessarily the greatest.
Yeah.
And even One Piece actually has, I think, about the
You're
same.
reviewing well.
Yeah,
You're reviewing well, so I'm really curious on that.
yeah.
All right. So obviously, we're going to be playing Starfield this coming week, obviously, and Burley's you're going to be continuing with Sea of Stars and as well. So yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead and skip what we're going to be playing because Yeah, that's what we're going to be playing. So Sea of Stars and Starfield, especially Starfield when it starts on, for us plebeians over on, on September 6th. Yeah. I say plebeians because in Roman history, plebeians, they were kind of like the common people. So we are the common gamers out here playing these
Yeah,
games.
no, I know the word. I just would have said it differently, and I don't know if I'm probably just wrong. I trust you on it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, so it's time to end the show with our indie recording artist spotlight. So we have an indie recording artist and an outro with music at the end of every episode. And in this episode, our indie recording artist is Joe Lane. So his real name is Jo Hyung Ju, but he goes by Joe Lane. He's a South Korean musician, producer, composer whose experience ranges from working with multi-platinum Korean artists, directing and arranging live shows, to producing indie artists. Fusing all styles of music and sound, Joe's music carries extreme dynamics and emotions that listeners can feel. So, and the song is called Mars. So, yes. So this has been the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, episode 144. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burleyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next episode next week. So our next episode of the podcast will be obviously on Friday nights now. Friday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So we hope we can catch you next week for the next episode. So take care, everyone, and enjoy the outro. Peace out.